What is up guys, Sprout here, and welcome to the first official giveaway video. Now the giveaway will be at the end of this video, so stick around to the end and see just exactly what you need to do to enter and win. But let's get into the video. Now this video is going to be kind of a discussion about making gold in Warlords right now. Because as a lot of you may know, a lot of the mats that are in Warlords Draenor now, with all the new stuff, the market on it has kind of gone to crap. Like, there's really not too much of efficiency. Like, you can't really just go out and farm mats as much as you could. Like, the new cloth for tailoring sumptuous fur, you can't really farm that well. One way I was making gold for a while was farming the raw beast hides, and it was good when they were actually going for a decent price, but now the market on them is pretty low, so it's hardly even worth it. And a lot of the other mats, like obviously the ore and the herbs, are going for pretty garbage now since everybody can get it, whether they have the profession or not, because of the garrisons. And the garrisons kind of wreck that market. It still has a couple other opportunities that you can make gold out of there, but nothing like as concrete as just farming. Like, you can't really go out and farm and make what you used to nowadays. But one thing I still found that there's the obvious demand for, but not as much supply, is out here these old Mists of Pandaria mats. Mists of Pandaria, a lot of people were kind of hoarding the mats when it was first coming to the end of it and just kind of saving all those up, but it seems like a lot of those people that were hoarding the mats, I'm sure they've kind of cashed in by now, because there seems to be a lack of on the auction house. And so out here farming these old school contents, I can still probably make about anywhere between 7 to 10,000 gold an hour worth, and that's just in 1 hour. And the one thing that's actually still in a decent demand is the Alani mount. As you can see here, I'm riding it, but people are still buying this mount. And in the past probably about 2 weeks here, I've actually farmed up about 3 of these mounts, and I've sold each of one of them pretty consistently between 20 and 25,000 gold each. And I made a video back, actually one of my more popular videos. It was actually farming this mount, just kind of a guide to it. And in the video I did say that I averaged a sky shard about every hour, and that still holds pretty true to this day. I've only ever actually gone on a streak where I didn't see one for, I think it was about 2 hours, maybe a little less, and that's only happened to me like once or twice out of the 3 Alani mounts that I farmed up. So it's pretty consistent when I say that I've gotten at least 1 sky shard every hour. And sometimes I've even gotten lucky streak, and I'll see even more. Like, I think at one point I saw 4 sky shards in 1 hour. That was the luckiest I ever got. And I actually factored that into my gold per hour. Like, if I'm selling Alani at about 20,000 gold and I'm seeing 1 sky shard an hour, that's pretty much a 2,000 gold value right there. So if I'm seeing like 2 sky shards drop in an hour, I guess technically I'd almost be making like 12,000 gold worth out here. And that's pretty substantial. But I did want to touch the base though. Like, this is definitely one of the main ways that I make gold, but in WoD right now, I guess it's always kind of been like this. If you can help it, you don't want to put all your chips on one slot, or I guess that's a bad analogy, but basically don't put all your eggs in a basket. You kind of want to vary it out, and that's definitely true with this market. Is like, you can farm all the windwool and all these mats all you want, but they will take an extra long time if you got too many of them, and you'll just swamp the market with them, and eventually they'll devalue and you'll get less out of them than originally priced for. And that's one thing with making gold, is if I kind of do this for long-term goals, I always kind of go out and just split my earnings. Like, I don't just farm windwool. It's like, maybe I'll take a bunch of the windwool and turn them into bolts and just sell the bolts, or a really common thing that I do is I actually buy Spirits of Harmony up and just get as many of those as I can. And since I'm a tailor, I can make royal satchels, so I just do that every once in a while and just kind of split my earnings through that. And it's just basic strategy I do, because I did used to just swamp one market and that would be how I made my gold, but now I kind of diversify it up. So here's a little farming method I use here. This one is actually probably more suitable to a lot of my friends. It's more spur of the moment. It's not something that you need to consistently come out and just farm for hours on end. It's just out here in the raid, Bastion of Twilight. It's an old cattle raid on Twilight Highlands, and it's just basic little trash farm kind of thing. I mean, you go in the start here, and there's pretty much all these mobs up ahead, and I mean, it's just a quick in and out. I mean, I kill them in less than a minute, and I just do this 10 times over to get the lockout, because I think, yeah, the lockout, if you guys didn't already know, has been extended. Like, you can run 10 instances in an hour instead of 5. I'm not sure exactly when it was changed, but that's just how it is now. And I mean, it's a little spur of the moment farm. I mean, I get a ton of Ember Silk, like as you can see here. I average probably about between 60 and 80 Ember Silk for every run. And I mean, I do a run in less than a minute. So I mean, usually by the end of this, and the 10 lockouts, I can usually do it in under about 7 minutes. So I mean, that's about an average time. And in that time, I get usually about 3 stacks of 200 Ember Silk, which, I mean, Ember Silk sells on my server for about 1 gold, 50 silver piece. So I mean, a stack of 200, I'm going to get about 300 gold. And I mean, to get 3 of those in 7 minutes, I mean, that's almost 1,000 gold right there. And let alone the vendor, just, raw gold and vendoring all the grades you get from here, that's another like 300 gold. So basically, in, the 7 or 8 minutes time, you're making about 1,100 to 1,200 gold, something around there. I mean, once everything sells, but Ember Silk sells decently quick. But I usually actually, obviously doing this so long, I mean, I usually come back here at least once every hour or two just to do it real quick, get it out of the way. And I mean, obviously I get swamped with Ember Silk. I don't want to just post it all in the auction house without really doing anything else with it. So usually what I do is, since I'm a tailor, I turn a lot of the Ember Silk cloth into bolts, and I'll actually craft like tailoring bracers from cat days. And I'll do this along with the other greens. I found an enchanter just because I don't have one, and I'll get it all disenchanted. I mean, Hypnotic Dust is the disenchanting mat, the common one for it, and it sells for quite a ton. I mean, it's been up there pretty consistently. I don't see it going down anytime soon here, but I mean, if I want to, I can just sell the Hypnotic Dust as is, or I can actually turn all the Ember Silk bowls that I want to, and use the Hypnotic Dust and just get mats out of them. And that is probably one of the quicker ways to make gold from this. Usually I'll end up breaking even. I mean, if I turn the Ember Silk into bolts and I find a tailor or enchanter and tip them and everything, I'll usually break it even. But it's just a different outlet, and that's why I kind of want to get at it. I mean, if you want to sit on the mats forever, that's fine. If you just want to sell all the Ember Silk in the world, great. But I mean, if you're looking to kind of be efficient with it and sell it decently quick so you can just get out there and farm again, then I mean, you definitely want to take these options and kind of just change it up instead of selling stuff as is, I mean, that's actually one thing that I do with herbs nowadays is I'll buy all the herbs up on the auction house because they're really cheap, and I'll turn them into the inks, and then I'll trade the inks at by the inscription trainer in Orgrimmar. You can trade them for any old world like inks. So I'll trade them for the Black Fallow, which is actually the cat ink, and I'll just make fortune cards. Because I mean, people really don't make them as much nowadays. There's virtually none on the auction house usually. So I mean, it's just another outlet, and I mean it's kind of a neat market. I mean, people once in a while they'll buy them up, they'll get that little gambling streak going, and then I'll sell them all within an hour, or I could be sitting on them for a couple days. But I mean, it's just another outlet, and that's why I definitely want to get across to you guys. So definitely, I mean, these are just a couple ways that I can make gold, but they're definitely my main sources. But I mean, a couple other things that I really haven't touched base with is professions in Warlords. A lot of the crafting professions are still good on making gold. I mean, if you're keeping up with your daily cooldowns and your work orders for whatever professions you have and crafting gear or something with them, that's still, I mean, a decent outlet. It's a nice little chunk of change. It's nothing that you can farm consistently, but I mean, if you're looking for a nice little income, you definitely want to keep up with that. Another thing, I mean, herbs are still going for pretty low, but I guess maybe if you have Alchemist, which is super easy to level up nowadays. You can just kind of make potions with them, or just other outlets you want to find. That's definitely kind of the key point I want to get across to you guys here, is the more corners of the auction house you're covering, the more you're going to make. And I mean, as you can see here, I am using an add-on on the auction house. It's called Auctionator, and definitely, I mean, even if you guys aren't, farm crazy madness or like to work the auction house a lot, I'd still recommend you guys get this. I mean, it makes things so much simpler. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the last tip I have for you guys. Alright guys, so it is the end of the video here, and I mean, definitely I've kind of covered the basics of gold making and exactly what I do, but I definitely want to get more into like in-depth guides with exactly what you can do for this profession or what you can do here, and just kind of more in-depth guide to different ways to make gold. But now for the gold giveaway, and it's really simple. All I'm really gonna have you guys do is just make sure you're subscribed, because this is for my subscribers of the channel, and just leave a comment on the video. You can type the letter A if you want, but I'm going to be choosing a winner from the comments. I'm just going to see how many comments there and do a /roll in game, and then just whichever number pops up, that'll be the comment I scroll down to, and that player will win. So yeah, that's all you guys gotta do. I will have a winner announced by this Tuesday in a new video, and yeah, so that'll be it, and until next time, this is Sparred out.